Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This time I have a what's on my iPhone video. When you buy a new iPhone, you're always like, I don't know what to download on it and all the apps and all that type of stuff. So I thought I'd show you guys what I have on my iPhone. Maybe some of the apps you guys will find useful, particularly some of the games you guys might enjoy. But yeah, without further ado, let me show you what's on my phone. So this is my home screen. I prefer the everything on one page approach. So I'll start just through the list. So calendar up top, I just use the standard Apple calendar. This is Apple Maps up top. This app probably needs to be deleted, but we'll get to it later. But Google Maps is my map app of preference. Photos, which I use to manage all my photos. Use iCloud for that. The camera app, just the standard camera app. The clock. Those are my alarms on a weekday. I don't know why I have any of the other alarms, because the 6:30 alarm is the only alarm I have. But I then use the Notes app. The Notes app is my app of choice for notes. So what have I got recently here? Okay, so the recent note I have is my notes from my podcast episode. If you guys didn't already know, I do a podcast called Let's Talk Liverpool, where I review every single Liverpool Premier League game, particularly more importantly this season when we're so close to winning the league. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I'll leave a link down below to my podcast. Check it out, it's on all the platforms, particularly if you're a Liverpool fan. But if you're just a football fan and you want to kind of hear my opinions on Liverpool and stuff. So that's Notes. Reminders is Reminders. App Store is App Store. Health and Wallet sit there. Wallet I've started to use a lot more over the past 6 months to a year, particularly with Apple Pay, and also when you go for a flight and things like that, having your boarding pass on your phone is super helpful. Then settings, standard settings app. Right, so now let's get to the juicy bit. So I have a home folder and a couple of apps I have in here. I have a Nest app, so I have a Nest thermostat. Being able to control the heating from outside your house from your phone is uber convenient. And yeah, the Nest app just works really well. The LG TV Plus, so I have an LG TV in my living room. Now this app is pretty rubbish. I don't know why I have it. It does some pairing with the TV, but it's very basic functionality, and it doesn't really do much. I then have the Vodafone Broadband Connect app for the broadband. I then have the Sonos app, so I have both a Play One in the bedroom and then a Sonos Beam in the living room under the TV. And the Sonos app is kind of not as useful since Sonos introduced AirPlay 2. So with AirPlay 2, you can kind of just select the output of your music to one of your Sonos speakers if it's kind of one of the newer generation ones. So the Sonos app is mainly just to configure your favorite radio stations. And I've got an old Play One, so I have to manage a lot of that through the Sonos app. But yeah, so Amazon Alexa as well. Now I don't have any Amazon devices themselves, but the Sonos Beam itself acts as a kind of an Alexa device. So I use that. Headphones. Now I don't know why this is in the home section, but I have a pair of Sony WH-1000 MX2, which I think is the right name for them. And this is the headphone app that you can pair with their headphones, and you can configure loads of stuff like bass, treble, ambient sound, etc., etc. British Gas for paying electricity and gas bills. Good food. Living in your own place, you kind of have to find different recipes and stuff, and the BBC Good Food app I find is really, really good. They have a load of recipes that are user generated, as well as a whole bunch of recipes that have been kind of on the BBC Food website for years and years. So great website. And then Nanoleaf, you may or may not be able to see behind me, there's their Nanoleaf lights I have in this room, so that app just controls that. Outlook is my email app of choice on my smartphone. The app is just really, really good, and provides a really simple way of managing your email, much better than Apple's standard mail app, in my opinion at least. And also, being at work and using Outlook at work, it's all very familiar, and it's just a really nice ecosystem to be in, Outlook. EE, I'm on EE, so that's a useful app. Then jumping into social media, most of the standard social media sites on here. So on Instagram, for example, this is my Instagram page. Guys, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do. Let me know if you enjoy or like some of the photos that I post. There's a lot of photos from a recent trip I took to Belgrade. So yeah, that's me on Instagram, Kieran_Pan1. So yeah, check me out. Twitter is my Twitter application of choice. Again, if you don't follow me already on Twitter and stuff, I post about random stuff, retweet cool stuff I find across Twitter. Kieran_Pan1 again is the username. LinkedIn for kind of professional networking. YouTube for the immense amount of YouTube I consume. WhatsApp is just one of the most universally used chat apps now. Messenger, again, linked to Facebook. Snapchat I just don't use anymore. I've kind of just weaned out of using it. The only thing I use Snapchat for, which is actually really, really good, and I'm not sure how they got the rights for this, but the day after, so say for example there's a ton of Premier League games on a Saturday, on Sunday Snapchat has really, really good kind of 2 to 3 minute highlights of all the Premier League games. So if you miss something, you don't want to watch Match of the Day, or you can't find highlights and you want to access stuff the next day, Snapchat is really, really good for that. So if you're a football fan and you want to watch quick highlights, Snapchat is your favourite. And then Skype, which I guess I don't use too often, but some of my family members do, so I have to use that. Then we have the entertainment folder. So Mixcloud, if you don't know what Mixcloud is, it's a fantastic app where DJs and kind of people who make music post mixes. And if we just go in here, I'll show you what some of my kind of favourite DJs I follow are. So DJ Blighty is someone who I follow on here. He's a great DJ. And this is just a great app to find new music. DJs release new mixes of throwback tunes, of new tunes, all that type of stuff. So that's a great app. Netflix is Netflix. I've just recently finished watching both Cricket Fever, which follows the Mumbai Indians in the IPL, and the Formula One Drive to Survive, I think it's called, documentary that follows Formula One teams through last season. 2 fantastic sports documentaries that I highly recommend. Shazam, which is now an Apple-owned company. Now TV, which is what I use for consuming sports. Prime Video to watch Amazon Prime, mainly the Grand Tour. It's pretty much all I watch on Amazon. YouTube Studio to track how the YouTube channel is doing. BT Sport, being on EE, I get free BT Sport, so whenever there's a game I can't watch, BT Sport's the one. iPlayer, again, mainly just used for downloading some BBC episodes. The only real there's only 2 shows, I guess, BBC shows that I really enjoy. Silent Witness and Death in Paradise. So if you don't watch either of those, or you don't know about either of those, check them out. They're 2 great kind of murder programs. Silent Witness a lot more serious, Death in Paradise a lot less serious, but both great fun. And the podcast app, which I have here, there we go. This the Let's Talk Liverpool podcast of mine. Well, I might as well show you what's in my podcast I've subscribed to. So the True Geordie podcast, one of my favourite podcasts. I just love True Geordie. I think he's great at interviewing and stuff. The Tim Ferriss Show, Adulting by Anoni. Now, you guys may have heard of her. She's big on Instagram and stuff, but her podcast is about kind of adulting and growing up as an adult, which is particularly kind of relates to me at the age of my life I'm at. Case File, which I don't really listen to too much. That Peter Crouch podcast, which had me in tons of laughter when I was listening to it. And I can confirm right now for you guys, I am officially the ambassador for North London for the Peter Crouch podcast. So I hope all of you guys pass the pod. And if you're a football fan or you're just a fan of comedy, I highly, highly recommend you check out that Peter Crouch podcast. It's with Chris Stark and James Fordyce, as well as Peter Crouch, obviously, and they just talk about lots of great stuff. And then Couples Therapy is Candice and Casey's podcast. I just find it funny to listen to. And then What's Good, which is Simon and Randolph, Simon from the Sidemen and Randolph. They do a podcast where they talk about YouTube and things like that, but as well as kind of a lot more things than that they're interested in. So just a little insight into the podcast I listen to. But all right, let's move on. So the news app. News, it's kind of light on here, but I've got BBC News, Sky Sports News and BBC Sport. Those are the main 3 news apps I use. I don't really consume too much news on my phone, mainly more on the laptop and things like that. But I also have McKinsey Insights there, So my job, if you guys didn't know, is as a business consultant, and so keeping on top of what's going on in the industry and trends and all this type of stuff is great. And honestly, the best company that has the best app for this type of stuff is McKinsey. So I often read a lot of their insights and kind of white papers through the app. Banking, this is all just banking stuff. So Monzo I use for international cards, international transactions most often. Nationwide, Coinbase, the days when Bitcoin was good, and I used to check on Coinbase with a smiley face. But got Atom and PayPal on there as well. Right, moving on. Navigation. So as I said earlier, although I've got Apple Maps up there, Google Maps is my travel app of choice. It just works and it's good. Although recently I've been experiencing problems with, like, it's just getting really confused about where I am and stuff. So I need to try and fix that. But Uber, you know, Uber's huge in London. Anywhere and everywhere you want to go, you can find an Uber. Tube app for checking tube status and things like that. It's a great app, great free app. Jump, which is a great app if you take the bus often. So it's a great app that lets you see when at your nearest bus stop when the next bus is coming. So sometimes your bus stop is only 2 minutes down the road. You don't really want to leave until there's maybe 5 minutes till the bus comes. You can check all of that on the app. On the free version, you can save a couple of favorite bus stops, so you can quickly check your nearest bus stop or something like that. Trainline, I use that for train times and kind of just train ticket buying and stuff like that. Waze, which I'm kind of in a limbo of using Waze or Google Maps for when I'm in my car driving around. Waze is a lot more easier on Apple CarPlay than Google Maps is. And then the final one is petrol prices. So this is a very kind of simple app. It does what it says on the tin. What it does is it uses your GPS location and finds you 5 petrol stations near you, both the cheapest and the nearest, and then kind of just highlights where they are and the prices at those petrol pumps. So you can then go to the cheapest one if you're not super desperate and you just need to find a petrol station. But you'd be surprised how I'll come to that app in a second. You'd be surprised how close petrol stations are, but they're so differently priced. But anyways, that's that. Shopping, kind of standard shopping / foodie apps in here. So ASOS, Amazon, standard apps. The Nectar app for when I shop at Sainsbury's. Uber Eats and Deliveroo just for food and stuff. Photo and video, I don't actually have too many apps. And the main 2 apps I have are both for my DJI Spark, my drone, and the DJI Osmo, which I have, which is the gimbal which I use for the phone. Now I always get confused which way around it is, which one's for the drone, which one's for the Osmo. I don't know why they are separate apps. I'm sure DJI could make them one app, but hey, maybe they just want to increase app usage and app downloads. But that's in there. Game-wise, I don't really game too much on my phone. My phone's mainly used to consume like internet-based stuff rather than game. But the one game I definitely play most is Jelly Splash. It's a great game, and if you haven't played it, it's kind of a Candy Crush-esque kind of game. Yeah, it's great fun. Heads Up is good for when you've got a group of people and you're like, oh, what should we do? Heads Up is a great kind of party game. 2048, if you don't know what 2048 is, one of the most addictive games. You have to join tiles together and they've got a number on them starting with 2, and every time you slide them they add on each other, and the aim is to try and get a tile of 2048. HQ is a kind of quiz-based app. It's bigger in America than it is in the UK, but there's kind of quizzes every day. People from all across the UK play, and there's a chance if you get, I think it's 12 right in a row, to win prizes. And then the final one is the Madden NFL app. I'm a big fan of NFL. I like to watch it when it's on the TV and stuff like that. Obviously the season's finished now, so the way I try and keep up with my NFL interest is by playing the game. It's recently changed to an online-only game, which is kind of annoying because I want to play the game when I'm on the train, but I've often got no signal. But it's a great little app, and I'm glad that EA are now making all of these games free because you don't really want to pay for a mobile game. Miscellaneous, these are just some random apps that I have. The GBK app, it gives you some discounts if you order in GBK on the app. If you didn't know that, try that out. Airbnb, I've recently used Airbnb over the past years, and you kind of just the way you gain trust with Airbnb is just by using it, and you come across nice people and stuff. So I've used that a lot more. Anchor is what I use to distribute all my podcasts. Now, if you guys are interested in a podcast and want to start one and don't know the technical side of it, Anchor is a great application and platform for you to basically upload your podcast. It has unlimited storage, as well as it distributes out to all of the major kind of podcast platforms. So if you're interested in a podcast and you want to get started, but you don't know how to get it on Apple Podcasts, you don't know how to get it on Spotify, use Anchor. It is your best friend. Giphy is Giphy, just for GIFs. Google Drive for some documents that are stored. Strava is my kind of running app of choice. Yahoo Weather is my weather app of choice. And this next one, Jack's Flight Club, and you saw the notification pop down earlier. What Jack's Flight Club is, it's an app started by a guy called Jack. Hey, who would have thought? But what it does is it scours the internet for flight deals, and then it provides you with a set of flight deals, and then basically you can just choose to buy them, and it breaks it down by, you want to go to, I don't know, Barbados. Their deals might say, Barbados between January and April, between £200 and £300, and they're always at big discounts. So it's a great app if you're looking to go somewhere. You can't select the destination where you want to go, so you get deals for random destinations. So if you're kind of just looking for a holiday, you're not too fussed, then it's a great app for you. Speed Test, which is speed test for internet. Just for jokes, let's do a speed test. Let's see what speed I'm currently getting in my flat. Let's have a look. How bad will it be? Okay, that's pretty good. For London and the UK, 64 down is not bad at all. And what are we getting up? I'm getting about 17. Will it get 18? Will it hit 18? Oh, no, 17.8. Hey, you can't complain with that, right? So 64 down, it's nearly 18 up. That's pretty good for London broadband. Bearing in mind where I live isn't fibre. We're still on copper. And I have Find iPhone, which I've never used. I don't think I ever will use. And then I have the Extras app. So this is kind of all the Apple rubbish that I haven't deleted, but hey, I don't really know what to do with. So I've got Compass, voice memos, contacts, measure, calculator, clips, all the kind of random stuff that comes on your phone you don't really know what to do with. So that kind of just sits in that little folder there. And then just finally across the bottom I have my standard apps. I have the phone, I have Safari, which is my browser of choice. I don't really use Google Chrome, just don't like the way it works on the iPhone. Messages, which I use for messages, and then the music app, which I have for Apple Music. So if I just show you, for example, what do I have recently on here? My latest album I kind of got from Apple Music on here is Death Race for Love by Juice WRLD. I'm a big fan of Juice WRLD. If you guys don't know, and another reason to follow me on Instagram is that every Friday I post 3 new tunes that I've found across the last week. This album, Death Race for Love, featured twice in last week's top 3. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and then check out my story on a Friday. I release new songs, or songs that I've been listening to that I think you guys might like. And then the first Friday of every month is some throwback tunes that everyone loves. But yeah, so that's my phone, guys. You become used to it. Everyone has their own kind of format that works for them. I like everything on one page. It's just easy, although I have to navigate through folders and things like that, but it works for me. So let me guys know if you have any of these apps, if you enjoy them, and if you do download any of the games or anything that I have, and if you enjoy them, please let me know. And I'll kind of do one of these again maybe in 6 months or 9 months to see how it changes. I don't think it will change too much, but hey, who knows? It might change. But thank you guys for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you are not already, and check out some of the other videos, particularly the gaming videos, which I've started to do recently. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.